Conversations. I'm your host, Sheila Seppi, and I am excited that you're here with us. So, wherever you are, if you're here in the audience, thank you so much for being here again. If you're out in Zoom land, on YouTube, or on one of our apps on Roku, Amazon, Apple TV, or if you're watching us on your cell phones on our app or the website, welcome, welcome, welcome. So tonight I am super excited, but I'm also super sad because tonight is Vivian's last night as my co-host. January has come and gone so quickly. And Vivian, I want to go ahead and bring you up, please. Let's go ahead and spotlight you for everyone. And I just want to thank you so much again for being here, bringing us some wonderful speakers this month. And could you take just a couple moments to let people know a little bit about you and, the services that you provide?
Oh, absolutely, Sheila. I know the month of January went back so quickly, and I got used to see you and everyone and our guests every Monday. Was looking forward to it. The next thing you know, tonight, for that portion, for the time being, it's the last one, but there will be more. I know there will be more. So it is only until next time, and we're always here. We're always here anyway, one way or another. So yes, I offer what's called the Arcturian Energy Matrix Healing. It's a galactic way to explore, who you are and healing in a whole different level. And also the Arcturian Healing Arts 3 months program that is a really deep dive as a group setting. This is a brand new program we just launched, and we already have the first group going on. About 8 different countries, people coming from different countries are coming together, and every month we go through different levels, like body, ascension, DNA, quantum. We really have a huge, wonderful program, and there's so much more. We'll be traveling. I'm going to be at a Conscious Life Expo, offering lecture, be on a panel. I'll be with Sheila. We're spending the time together at our booth. Come to see us. We're going to be also together at the Sedona beautiful Awakening Retreat, Sedona, March 17 to 19. We're going to be there as well. And then there will be so much more. So you will see plenty of me coming up for sure.
Oh, yes, I know I'll see you, but everybody here won't get to see you. So we have an echo. If everyone could please go on mute. There we go. I think I found it. Wonderful. So Vivian, thank you so much again for being here. And like tonight, we have another wonderful, wonderful, wonderful speaker. We have Marcela Velasco, and Marcela was born in Cusco, Peru. She's dedicated her life to ET contact and contacting different realities as a galactic shaman. So this is going to be wonderful tonight, folks. So she travels all over the world, opening portals of light and raising the frequency of the planet. In this show, she explains her contact with light beings from the universe within Andromeda. Woohoo! So she has learned different ways of contact, healing, and especially contact from her heart. And her contact is physical, it's permanent, and it is profound. And so I cannot wait. I'm going to go ahead, Marcela, and bring you up. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me tonight.
Thank you for being here. I know earlier you said that you're having some internet issues, but everything looks really good. We're thrilled that you're here, and we will go ahead and let you start with your presentation. So again, thank you so much.
Bienvenido.
No, thank you so much for having me. As you said, my name is Marcela Velasco. I was born in Cusco, Peru, and that's where I was raised too. And I spent most of my time here in Peru until 1987, that we had a political turmoil and we had to leave the country, and I went to the US, and that's where I lived half of the year also. Since I was a little girl, I grew up having these blue lights above my eyes all the time. And I didn't know what it was most of the time, but every time that they weren't there, I was always concerned why they weren't there. So I grew up seeing all these lights, and then when I was probably around 7, then they were more physical, having bodies, and I didn't know what it was either. And I grew up reading a lot of books about Tibet and ETs until I found somebody from a group called Mission Rama, which is a group dedicated to ET contact in Peru. And that's how I met one instructor that was one of the first ones besides Six to Pass. So Mr. Felix Avila was like my private instructor because he was the only one having a group in Cusco and I was the only student. So I learned from Mission Rama all the protocols of contact and learn how to meditate, how to integrate energies to be able to be ready for contact. So from Mission Rama, I learned also that we all have a lot of pieces of us from different lives, from different energies, from different experiences in different places around the planet and in different planets too. So at that time, I started traveling around the world to pick up pieces of myself because I thought it was more important at that time when I was very young that to put together myself, having all the memories of previous lives. So I started with Tibet and then the Himalayas in many different places, Asia, Egypt, and a lot of places, South America also. So when I felt that I was mostly like a whole within myself, then it was time for me to begin my contact with extraterrestrial beings. At the time that I learned from Mission Rama how to make contact with ET beings from Jupiter, mostly because that's what Mission Rama does. I also learned that in my case, I needed to learn how to contact with the intraterrestrial world first. So I learned that that's why they call me galactic shaman, because that's what I started doing at the beginning, going to places, using the shamanic world of the Peruvian Quero people that I learned in the Andes here in Cusco. So I started to connect with different beings from the intraterrestrial world. I also had a master from one retreat here up in the mountains here in Cusco. And little by little, I learned how to connect with the intraterrestrial world first. Then it's us, and then it's the ET world. So once 3 of them are aligned, the light goes back and forth and lights go through connecting. That's what I said. My presentation is going to be connecting worlds because that's what I do. I think that we as humanity are in the middle of connecting these two worlds. And once they're all aligned in perfect harmony, then we can be the connectors between worlds to bring a lot of energy and a lot of wisdom to the planet. So I started doing all kinds of retreats here in the mountains. My family used to have a cattle farm ranch here in Cusco until a little bit ago. Now it became a mining company. And that was a sacred place. And I learned from the people there how to honor the mountains, how to honor the land, how to communicate with stars, how to communicate with the animals, which is very important in the Peruvian cosmogony. They talk to the spirit of the mountains. And that's what I did for a long time before I started my connection with the ET world. Once I started with the ET beings, I connected with beings from our galaxy, different beings, different places. I learned from them. I learned about the ships, the cultures. And I started to have groups in different places for meditations, weekly meditations. We did a lot of ceremonies because for me, contact is always ceremony. So I call them contact ceremonies, ET contact ceremonies. And usually we just follow guidance in meditations to go anywhere, wherever I am, but usually here in Cusco to the secret places, to the solar temples, the Inca and the pre-Inca people left here in Peru. To do ceremonies first, to connect into the earth, if it's during the day, to connect with the solar energies before we start ET contact. But for me, ET contact is always based on respect, unconditional love, and oneness. It's not about the phenomena. I never looked for the phenomena. For me, it was always to learn how to integrate their world into mine, and how to remember also that I'm not, in my case, a human person looking for an ET experience. For me, it was the other way around. It was an ET being on a human body, learning how to be human too, learning how to live in the multi-dimension and being able to be completely clear and aligned with both worlds without being confused. So it took all my life to get to that point, but it's good. It's good to help other people understand that it can happen, that it has nothing to do with the phenomena, that it's a relationship once you know who are the beings that you're talking to and who are the beings that are in contact with you. Because a lot of people spend a lot of time going into groups to sky watching. And I think it's very interesting and I think it's great. I enjoy, for me, it was always like fireworks and I would be screaming also like anybody else. But it goes beyond light. It goes beyond moving objects. So at this point where we are right now, contact becomes so important, but it's a relationship. So in my case, I started talking with beings from different places, different races. I would go traveling, knowing which beings were there, supporting my work, what I needed to do, always following guidance, until probably it was around 2003 that we were doing meditation, and then suddenly I channeled a lot too. This being with an amazing, very sweet voice started talking, and it was this being from Andromeda, and that was the first time that I channeled this being, and she introduced herself as Ariana. So I call her Commander Ariana from the universe within Andromeda, who at the same time is part of me. And then I learned from them that there was a universe within Andromeda. And the galaxy of Andromeda is like 2.5 billion light years away from the Earth. And they have a central sun, which is a blue sun. So they use the blue sun as a portal to go through that, to go into the world, which is another universe. As we know, everything is known, and the universe is extremely vast that we don't really even know what exists out there. From these beings, I learned so much, but basically everything they taught me was about humbleness, how to completely delete the mind and start thinking with the heart. They talk about the sound of silence and how to listen with your heart and not with your ears, how to talk with the heart and not with your mind, and how to be so humble that there's no ego in nothing that we do. It took many, many years for the little group that I had and myself to go through all the steps that they wanted us to go through to be ready for physical contact. And the beginning, when they say 33 steps, I thought they were gonna give me a list, and just go step by step, week by week, or year by year, but it didn't work like that. All those steps were based on daily things that happen to each of us. So that was a lesson, and things that we didn't learn at the beginning. We have to do it many, many times until we completed those 33 steps that for each of us was different, but they were things that we do every single day, like learn how to be in silence, learn how to be in complete silence, that you can hear everything else, but you're in silence. It was also obedience, it was humbleness, it was dedication, it was surrender. There were a lot of things. And once all of us, we were only 5, got to the point that it was time, we were given a day and a place where to go. And I always went to my father's farm, and there was a cave and a lake there. So that was our contact place. And for me, that's one of my Andromeda bases on Earth. And then when people ask me how physical contact is and how it is, when it happens in so many different ways that we always have to pay attention to little details on the way they show up, on the way they're there, and we don't see them because we're looking up the sky instead of seeing what's in front of us. That day we were there, and it was the 20th of October, 2010. And for me, that was the 2010 symbol that came to number 33. And we were at this place between 5:05 until 5:55. And then suddenly it started snowing. And here in Peru, we don't have much snow. And then for someone like me that lives in Colorado, I know exactly what it is when it snows. So I never saw snowflakes with shapes. They were all symbols. Until we felt this tube of light that came down. And of course, we were already inside it. And we knew that we were being lifted and exploded into thousands and thousands of atoms. But at that time, it's just the consciousness knowing that you're part of the whole and you're there to see something completely different. And that was a reality that we didn't know it existed when it's full of light. And when these beings, they don't belong to basically any density or vibration because it goes beyond that. But they're just pure light and they're so loving and caring, trying to explain to us and teach us what we have to learn to be able to bring that to the earth, to create a new earth that we all talk about. So since then, for me, it's been a journey that I learn every day. And I travel all over the world because there are places where they have left codes, light codes, energy, or even light writing that it's invisible, but there's a moment that we can see what is written. So I just go to different places to reactivate those light codes, to open up portals for beings that need to come back, for beings that are here that need to go back. I was just there in Easter Island. I've never been there. And for me, that was a total experience, completely different because it belongs to a world, to a continent that sunk. And the energy is so pristine and it's there. I'm not a public person. I usually accept interviews and I accept going to conference when I feel it's needed, that some other people hear me. I think it's important that the sound of the voice touches people's hearts. I don't write books. I don't do any public stuff because I didn't feel the need to until guidance tells me that maybe it's time for now. I just have a very private life and I share my life and my experience when it's the time, like tonight. I know Vivian from before, so I accepted to come and join all of you and tell you what is the world of a person that in a way it's a contactee, it's an ET being and it's working basically unknown on Earth. But at the same time, we're all part of the same thing and we're all doing the same thing, that it's protecting first our Mother Earth, opening up to new realities, new energies, to raise the frequency in our planet for a better world and for humanity. In my work, a lot of people ask me, how do I know the beings are in front of me? Or how do I know that it's happening if I don't see a shift, a craft, physical metallic craft with lights all over the place? Well, I learned through the years and I take a lot of photos, not to sell them or anything. I take them for me so I can cut them in pieces to see how it is. And sometimes these beings from this universe within Andromeda, because they're so tall in the world, in our reality, they don't have physical bodies on 3D. Sometimes they manifest in miniature like this, and they can be hanging in the sky and we don't see them. Or sometimes they manifest over my clothes. So I can show to people that they're there. They're looking at us, they're there, or they're with me, looking at them. Sometimes I go to conferences when people always go like, oh, something is beaming, but we don't know what it is. And I always say, pay attention because they're all around it. They're all around me sometimes. And they're the ones that talk to through me. And so you were asking me if I needed to use
Yes.
the share. If you allow me to, I would like to show you a few photos.
Yes, please.
So at least, okay, well, I'll try to do that. And as I said before, we're going through a lot of political stuff going on here in Peru, and the internet cuts off. So maybe I won't have enough speed to load a photo here. But I'm sorry, it seems like it's not going to work because this is going to cut off. I'm going to try to even send it to you. Maybe you can share it with your audience.
Beautiful.
Most of these beings are beings of light, as I said before, but they have different energies. So the ones that I see mostly are golden. They're just golden beings. The other ones are blue beings. The other ones are transparent energy. Some of them are bold. Some other ones have very big eyes. Sometimes they have the
Marcela,
blue eyes. Yes.
if you would like it, you could try to email those to me and I could put them up from my side if you want to try that.
Yeah, I can do that unless you have Facebook. That would be much easier, maybe, because that's the only thing that works all over the world faster than anything.
Do you want my email?
Yes, or if you have Facebook, I can look up for you and send you those photos.
Okay, it's Sheila, SHEILA, at SheilaSepi.com. And then I will check my email while you're speaking. And then if they come through, then I can show them for you.
Do you use your Facebook? Because I just found your name.
Yes.
Through Vivian, and maybe it would be easier.
Okay.
Marcela,
Well,
the pictures. I'm
Yes?
sorry, dear. The pictures you want to share with us, is it on your computer?
It's my computer, but it doesn't load because of the internet, that the speed is so slow.
Of
Because it's
course.
with the political stuff that we have going on right now, trying to control that. So I'm trying to
Okay.
use my phone, that maybe that would be, better.
Okay.
So she's going to send them to me to Facebook and then I'll upload them.
Thank
So
you
they're
so
on here
much.
for her. Of
Thank you,
course.
and I'm very sorry, but
Oh.
this timing for us here in Peru, it's actually very complicated.
Not a problem. I'm happy to help.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you for being here, Marcela. It is such a pleasure to see you and be in your energy again.
Thank you so much, Vivian. And as I was saying, that these beings, they have different colors, different energies, and usually they use that energy either to amplify energy in different places, to raise the frequency of the planet, to load light codes for the people that need it, or we use it for healing. As you know, Vivian, all these beings have their own healing chambers, and we use different types of energy for healing, for surgery, for changes of DNA if it's needed, same for the planet, same for humanity. So that's the way sometimes that we help. There are many, I call them hospital ships that are stationed around the earth. And sometimes we take people into these hospitals when it's needed, when it's important, and when people request the help. Because as probably most of you know, they won't interfere unless you call and ask for help. Same as with the earth. If our planet needs healing in different places, needs activations, there's stuff that needs to be taken out. There's stuff that needs to be transformed and energy that needs to be transformed. We also do that. And I think it's important that we're all, as a collective, we're working together. Different fields, different ways, but at the same thing, we have the same purpose.
So Vivian, you were one of our speakers this past weekend. While Marcela is sending the photos over, do you want to share just a little bit about some of the information that you shared with people?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Giving Marcela an opportunity. And I just want to add about what Marcela said about the hospital ships. We do the same thing with the nocturnes. We do have our healing chambers. And after time, we do, whether it's groups or individual. But like Marcela mentioned, it's always what is the best in resonance for the person or the group that we work with. So, you really need to ask. And if it's in resonance, something, they will definitely assist you. The conference this weekend, oh my God, that was awesome. Sheila, you did a tour de force to bring it together with Alan and Neil, and I want to recognize the work that you put into it. We were talking, I had a chance of presenting a little bit about Arcturus and the memory that I got. One thing I forgot to mention, and I know it wasn't meant to be then, I'll tell you now, is that as I was exploring the realm, Arcturus is a realm for us, is the realm of the great unification. We have one central sun, one central star, not sun, star, and we have 12 orbiting planets. It is truly the realm of unification. And one of the memories I had was myself as an Arcturian child with my Arcturian father taking me to what's called the Cave of Time. And it's really a realm that exists outside of space and time. And it's a place where you can commune with Prime Creator in everything from creation to today, to the tiniest spark of the universe, to the mighty planets that we have. Everything is there. And I had a memory coming through as I was preparing my presentation for the conference this weekend. And I told Father, I'm like, I want to share that. And it completely slipped my mind. That's because today was the time. There we go. All right, back to our wonderful Marcela here.
But usually I use this image when I talk about my work. It says connecting worlds. And then if you can see on my chest, there's an ET face. This photo was taken in the Temple of Abydos in Egypt. And for me, it's very interesting because Egypt for me is a place where I always go and recharge my energy. Everything is written in the walls of the temples. And then there's a moment, of course, when there's no time. And there's just one playtime. And this other second photo that she just showed. Well, that is... I'm going to go little by little because otherwise it would be, let's see. Okay, this is a ship. This is an Andromeda ship that I call the blue platinum ship. And you can see the shape and it's light. It's light and it was huge. This is in Uyuni, that's the side of Bolivia in the Solplex. So that's the way I would see a ship myself. I don't see it as sparkling lights or a craft. So that was a ship. This is in Patagonia last year. They sent me there to open up a blue platinum portal, and you can see the light. That's the sun, but it's blue. And then everything, it's a glacier, it's ice. And most of these beings in Andromeda live in temperatures that are so cold that basically their way of living is on ice. So when I saw this, that's the photo, you can see all these, of course, that's ice, that's the glacier. But if you see through and if you can see with your heart, these are a lot of elders that came at the beginning of times at the creation of Earth, that came and left some light codes and information for our times. So I was there last year to open up and to reactivate those codes. This is a photo that I used to show how these golden beings, they manifest. So you can see the golden ones, you can see on the top, on the right, and the second one, those are very thin beings, different colors, and even the second ones, you can see their faces on the light. The other ones are in different different places, different energies, but that's how they manifest to me when it's a physical contact. And then the first one on the left is actually a coca leaf. And here in Peru, a lot of people read the future in coca leaves. But that's a coca leaf that came exactly as an Andromeda being. And then on the last one on the right side, that photo is inside a cave in Malta. And you can see the beings that are standing at the entrance of the cave.
Wow. It's amazing. And then you have a face here.
Yeah, I have a face and I have a face down below. And then at the bottom also on the fourth plane, it's me. But if you can see my hand, you can see a face of a being materialized in my hand.
Amazing. And then I wanted to ask, this is very interesting. The second row in the very center. That's
Yes.
incredible.
Well, those are the golden beings that travel with me. You know, they're blue, they're golden, or they're transparent.
Beautiful, beautiful. Looks like there's dancing here.
Yeah, lots of beings in the mountains, and that's in Colorado.
Aha. Where in Colorado?
Near Aspen.
Okay, well, I'm in Leadville, so not too far.
Well, this photo is from this last trip a few days ago. And if you can see in the light, you can see all these beings that are at the bottom, lots of beings. And usually, you know, I recognize because I see a sparkling light, and this was a very dark night. And they manifest the light just to say goodbye, because I was doing my last ceremony at the Moais the night before I left. And that's a way for them to tell me that they were with me, they were guiding me all the way through. And it was time for me to go, you know, and come back. And that's one of the Moais. And the sun supposedly is above, but it's not the sun. So that's why the Moai is covered in blue light. And usually Andromeda ships or Andromeda beings use a lot of blue light for everything they do. And that's a heart. It's golden light that sometimes shows up as a flame. And this was from the last trip. They send me a lot of hearts. Sometimes they're inside my eyes. They also write inside my eyes. But that was in front of me. And for me, that was like a heart, you know, to say that everything was done, and it's done with the heart.
Okay, I think that is the last photo that came through. Beautiful.
Yes. And then they write in light. You know, I have a lot of photos with writing, with beams of light in different ways. Sometimes they're ancient languages, and just using them to understand the reason why they're sending those codes, and why the meaning of that, for example, needs to be activated in a certain place. For me, the River Nile, for example, is a place that is like a mirror, where all these ancient cultures also left a lot of writings in light. So they're encoded in the water. So sometimes when we reach a certain level of frequency, they becomes visible. And I love when that happens.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, for people who are just beginning this journey of contact, do you have recommendations for them on what would work best for them to be able to extend that invitation out?
Well, the first thing I would say is that is at the beginning, don't look outside. You have to learn how to go within. Even if you don't know how to meditate, you don't have to learn. It's just very simple to learn how to be quiet, how to close your eyes, how to start looking inside, not to ask for many questions, because it's yourself who's going to ask the questions with time. But as long as we can go within, and then we're connected to ourselves first, then we can go outside and connect with the outer world, even in our physical reality, and then go higher. And many times, a lot of people have a lot of ET experiences and a lot of paranormal experiences. As one person told me when I was very young, this guy told me, always believe in what you see, always believe in what you hear, because nobody's going to tell you that that is true or not. You just have confidence that what's happening. So for all those people, it's like if you start making contact, if you think something is going on, ask yourself within, and then start there, little by little, because it takes probably all our lives, and we'll never learn everything. We just learn a little by little, and we all learn together.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, I want to check the chat. It's Barbara would like to ask, do you take people on ships when they're asleep, and how does that happen?
Well, I don't take people on ships when they sleep. No, sometimes when there's a way that people reach me for healing, I will explain to them what to do, and I'm not going to take them. If they're going to be healed, they will be taken by the doctors, either the doctors from the ship, or there's a place in Uruguay that it's called Aurora, where I think it was in the 70s, a UFO crashed. And when these beings manifested to the owner of the farm, they said that they were healers from Pleiades and some from Andromeda. For me, for example, that's a great place to contact when you need help, to call the doctors from Andromeda, from Aurora, because they're all doctors. If people want to go into a ship, I mean, nobody is going to take them. I won't take no one, but they have to request the connection and the contact with whoever beings they feel attracted to or they're in contact with.
Now, with your first contacts, I know I've heard Ricardo Gonzalez talk about creating the Zendra to go inside. Have you had that experience?
Yeah, the Misión Rama group was created by Sixto Paz in Lima, Peru. And one of the protocols of contact is the Zendra. A Zendra is an interdimensional door. So usually the Misión Rama people, since the beginning, we all gather together, we meditate, we're fasting for a day at least. I mean, everything's changing day by day, but at that time, at least 20 years ago, that's what we used to do in fasting, and many people meditating and singing together until the energy was created, until we had this portal. A Zendra is usually some like oval door of light. And sometimes, I mean, people do it on their own. Sometimes they do it groupally that you go through, and that's an interdimensional door. So either you're going to feel that you're taken into a ship, you're going somewhere else, you're being healed, you're just in a different reality. It's not like you disappear and then you just have a lot of experiences that basically will raise your own frequency, your own vibration, and allow you to learn how to be more sensitive and how to start having contact experiences.
Beautiful, beautiful. So what do you think is for you? What was the, gosh, I guess I don't even want to say special, but what has occurred to you as far as the contact goes that really left an impression on you?
I think each experience was important because that's the way we grow up, like in anything experience. And for me at the beginning, I was very scared because I didn't know if they were going to take me to a ship and never come back. I didn't know how I was going to come back, or being lifted and being hanging in the air. It's like what I'm going to do. So I was very scared. So you learn how to manage the energies, how to feel them, how to control your own emotions, your own physical body. And little by little, you detach from the physicality, into the astral plane, and the mental is off, and then you just go little by little. So I won't say that there was one. Each one of them made of me who I am. And we just go by steps, because all your experiences also happen on the level of consciousness that you have, because anything can happen, and if you're not aware, you won't understand.
Beautiful. Thank you. I think that I heard you speak in Laughlin, Nevada, at the Star Works conference. Yes. And you were also talking about orbs. So a lot of times people have questions about orbs. And in your opinion, what do you believe actually that orbs are?
Well, sometimes depends on the orbs and where they come from or how they originate. But some orbs are beings, they're alive, they move. Sometimes they have cameras in it, they can be sent from ships. Some others, there's something that it's called unicellular ships. So they're alive, and they have a mind, they talk to you. Some others are there to call your attention. They change colors. Sometimes you can see the faces inside it. Some others, they move so fast that basically it's like, listen, this is what I wanted to tell you. They cross like that. Some others, they're hanging like in this, my last trip last week. These orbs were like bubbles. I couldn't believe that because I've never seen that before. They were all golden, but bubbles, and they expand and they move and they change shapes. And I was trying to understand what is that is new. And then I learned that is the frequency in which they move. And in the ones that we know, the regular orbs, sometimes they're there, they rotate, they move. These ones were like plastic, moving all over. And it's just because of the speed that they move. And that shows also that our planet is going into a different dimension. The frequency is raising, the consciousness is expanding, and we can see more and more paranormal effects.
Great. Hey, I think Vivian had a couple questions for you as well.
Of course. Thank you, Sheila. It's just always a pleasure to listen to you, Marcela. And I remember when you came to our podcast on the Infinite Star Connection and you were our guest, one of the things that you mentioned always stayed with me. You said, remember that it's not about the numbers, it's not about you, it's not about the fame, it's about the message. Do you remember something like that? You said it's about the message. So in that sense, especially where humanity are going to in 2023 and with Ascension, is there a message or something that we need to remember to help all of us?
Well, the first thing, as you said, is like we just have to remember that we're messengers. It's not about none of us. It's about no names. It's about no places, no countries, nothing. We're all here working with the same purpose. The first thing would be to heal our planet, to try to learn how to live with each other. And the most important thing for me is the connection within ourselves. So if we have to teach, we have to teach the right thing. If we are students, we have to learn the right thing. And then the vibration that creates when we're conscious of everything and we know that all this is moving around, make us all very strong and make us all one.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much, Marcela. Again, I just love listening to you. I know that I hear that question often. People get a little bit caught up in the understanding what the higher dimension are. And sometimes people ask me, well, how do you know that you're shifting dimension? For example, moving from third density to fifth dimensional reality. So based on your knowledge, your teachings, and your interactions with so many amazing beings, how would you define what are the dimensions? What is that?
I think we grew up learning that we live on a 3D world. And we always believe that we can go to 4, to 5, to 7, to maybe 9, maybe 12. And there's a point really when there are no dimensions, because basically it's the mind that, for me, that controls everything. So the mind is the one that limits a lot of things for us. So when, for example, you were asking me what happens when you're in a different dimension, for me, it's like feeling that you're in a different dimension is just feeling so light, because you're not thinking, you're like touching that energy, you're feeling wherever you are, you're breathing it. It makes your body, your physical body so light, that then you feel a lot of joy, because at that level, there's no worries, because we know at the end that everything happens for a reason, that everything is going to be what it needs to be done. And we're just passing through, and we're just trying to create a better reality for all of us. Um, for example, these beings from Andromeda, many times when we meditate or we talk to them, I always ask which dimension they move, because a lot of people say, the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, I don't know, this and that, they move in the fifth, in the 12th, in the 11th, and there's nothing beyond that. But these beings always say that there's a point in dimensions that there are no dimensions, like there's no time, no space, and everything becomes just one line. So with the dimensions, I think it's the same. It depends on how we vibrate and what are the things that we do that are correct. Leaving the mind out, I think, basically, and then start feeling with the heart. Even when we breathe, if we breathe light, knowing that we're breathing light without thinking of the smell, but breathing light, that would change a lot of things.
I love it. The reading into the light and knowing that you're already shifting that dimensional experience without the taste or the smell. You're just breathing into the light. I felt it. I felt the light coming through me when you were sharing this. That was incredible. Thank you, Marcela. Absolutely.
I'd like to see if we have anyone that has questions for you. Let's see. Okay, Ryan.
Greetings, can you hear me?
We can
Yes.
hear you.
All right, perfect. There we go. Yeah, my highest self is a ninth dimensional Andromedan. So my question is, what are the Andromedans doing to help increase the vibration on Earth as we shift to 3D to 5D? What specifically are the Andromedans doing to help with the other species out there, like the Pleiadians and Arcturians, to help increase the art and to help with our ascension process? Thank you.
Well, as probably Vivian have said many times, I mean, there's a galactic federation where all these beings work together with the purpose of helping a lot of 3D world, and mostly here in our galaxy, in the Milky Way. If you talk only about the Andromeda people, then we have to make a difference between the Andromedas from the constellation of Andromeda and the beings from Andromeda in the other universe within Andromeda. So they're different things. They do different things also. They move in different realities. From the beings that I know that they move in the universe within Andromeda, they live in the multiverse. And what they do is bring a lot of light to planet, a lot of loving energy, a lot of information and wisdom about how to connect directly from the heart, how to start using your heart as a reflection of their universe. And once we learn that, because we all talk about unconditional love and this and that, and we always think that it's something that is so hard to achieve. So if we think that we can use as our hearts as a way to connect instead of our minds, and then the heart will send this energy out, even if we try to put them a name, what vibration, what level, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just a sense, and it's the power of that energy going forward or going to different places. So what they do is that they cover the planet in light. If it's the work for the Earth, they cover the planet in light. They go underground to the heart of the Earth also, to expand from the heart of the Earth to all the places that were secret places in the past, from the ancient cultures, to hold the light there and start take them up to expand. We also use the energy of the heart to connect to people. So when I talk, I always say, as long as I can touch somebody's heart, we're fine. Because then we're going to stop thinking too much and believing and trusting that whatever we're doing is correct and it's good for everyone.
Thank you.
You're on mute, Sheila, dear. I know that the Stone Hobbit has a question. There you
Yes.
go.
Hi, Stone.
Hi, everybody. I'm Marcela. Thank you for
Hi.
sharing your journey. Yes, I'm a contactee of many different ones, as you can see in my background. I wanted to know, do you see your orbs? I mean, I know the different types of orbs that come in, and they have different ways that they show themselves coming in. Do you see them with the naked eye?
I do.
Okay.
And I do them, I see them as light, I see them as movement until they start taking shape.
Yeah. So I know I live with, we are living in a time where everything is multidimensional. There are so many different beings here at the moment. Have you had any of your light beings come in and morph into familiar faces or entities, or like animals? I'm doing an animal thing at the moment, seeing which species of beings come in as light beings and then morph into animals.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting because I used to have a dog that got very ill after 10 years, and I was taking care of him until the last minute. And then just a few days before that, I realized that that wasn't a dog. And I started seeing the being. And it was an incredible master from the Egyptian times that knew me very well. Like he was there to protect me. So when I bury my dog, I bury him with all the Egyptian symbols that I had with me, because I recognized that moment that he was there protecting me and guiding me the whole time, and until it was time for him to go. Yes.
Thank you for sharing.
I love what you're just saying, both of you, because today, during a beautiful eating session with a lovely lady, the dog came behind and immediately morphed into a Syrian being and tell me, look, I want you to see me. I want you to understand who I am. And I physically saw the beautiful Syrian morphing back into the dog and pulling his head right on my client's shoulders and says, okay, now you can start your healing session. It was phenomenal. And so thank you so much for bringing that up about animals.
Yeah.
I think at this, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was just, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that at this time, they're using a lot of dog energy, because as we know, dogs symbolize also unconditional love. That's how they connect to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you, Stone.
Thank you.
Hey, Patty. How
Hey,
are
Sheila.
you?
Hi,
ya.
so good to be here. Sorry I was late. I have a question. I do healing work, and I get in my office here, in my space, always seems to happen here, but I get a lot of blue. It just pops in. It'll be like flashes, like there it'll be, there it'll be. I had a woman come in and sitting on my couch, and I was just talking with her before we started. And I'm looking at her, and I'm seeing above her head, this thick, whole half of her head. It was that like blue violet, the whole half wide. And ends up she'd had electroshock therapy as a child. And but this light, it comes a lot, and I don't know who it is. I don't know. I always am glad to see it, and I know it's positive, but I just don't know if any of you ladies have an idea of what that could be or how I could work with that light. Am I supposed to work with it, or I don't know. That's my question. I don't know if there's even an answer for it, but
Marcela, what would you recommend to Patty?
I would say that sometimes the blue light, it's a very high frequency energy. And usually it could be a being, it could be your own guides, it could be sent from a ship, it could be sent from anywhere. But I would ask if they're there, if you feel why they're there, if they're protecting you, they're guiding you for healing, and to connect with that energy and use it. So if it's blue, use it. If you do healing work using your hands, use blue. When you visualize things, if you're going to use different therapies, use blue. Sometimes I ask people to breathe blue because it will regenerate a lot of cellular tissues and different things in the body.
okay. Okay, thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I have another quick, while I had the opportunity with you all back, probably about 25, 30 years ago, I was in a woman's home doing a healing, and all this was new for her. And I was still young with all this, and I was being too busy with what I was doing. And all of a sudden I heard, like, stop, just go sit behind her, don't touch her, put your hands like here. And I did. So I did. And what she told me was happening was she saw next to her body one of the little guys, with the big eyes, and she saw one standing there, and it was working on her, and it flashed, and then someone went and held her feet, and then they flashed all her lifetimes to her. It was just one, like a movie, one after the other, and I was just there. And what I got was that I had been that little gray man in another life, and that I had done some bad stuff with healing, and I came to do good, but that was an opportunity. But I've never shared that with anyone, so this just felt like a good platform to share that, because it felt wonderful. It just anyway, because we hear some things about them that are a little scary, but this was really quite sweet, this being. So
Oh, thank
Thank
you,
you.
Patty.
thank
That's
you.
amazing. Thank you so
Beautiful.
much.
I have a quick question, if I may.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Alejandra. It's wonderful to be with you all. Yeah, hi. My question, Marcella, is there a particular shade of blue frequency to work with? Is it a deeper, like sapphire blue, or is there a particular tone that you would recommend?
I don't think there's a particular tone, because it just depends on how each person works with that energy. So any blue or any color of energy that you see, it's going to be fine, because it goes related to yourself. Trying to find a color or a specific thing, it won't work. What you see is what is perfect for you.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
thanks for your question.
Yeah.
Okay, Susie. Hi.
Hi, Marcella. I've seen you. I saw you at Star Works, and I saw you another time, and I love how you make me feel. I get so light and so high in my frequencies when you speak. When you speak, what I do is I just kind of open up. I have so many questions, but rather than that, I just kind of open up and let you take. I just love you. I'm so grateful you've been with us. And Vivian, so thankful you were with us this month. Oh my God, you're so cool. I wish I
Thank
was
you
here
so
more.
much.
Anyway, thank you, Marcella. Beautiful, beautiful presentation.
Thank
Oh,
you, Susie.
thank you so much, Susie. I love your energy as well.
Yes, and all your songs. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have anyone else that has a question? Yes, ma'am.
Mhm. Well, I'm a very curious being, so I'm always open to learn, expand, and experience the sharing. So, Marcela, I know you've been trained by those amazing beings for a very long time, and I am deeply interested and curious about what can you share a little bit more, or diving a little bit more about what type of training did you receive to prepare you for, contact communications, preparing for the, you know, preparing for your work, the ceremony that you do. Can you just share us a little bit of that amazing training?
Well, as you all know, I'm from Cusco, Peru, that it's located in the Andes. And here we have a lot of traditions from the Inca and pre-Inca cultures. And we're all Catholic, but we have a mix of beliefs. So my first training will be that being in the Andes at my father's farm and seeing the people and learning from the people how to honor Mother Earth, Pachamama, and how they do their offerings and how they display the things when they request different things from the universe, and then to honor all the elements and everything that it's around. So I learned that, but at the same time, I use a lot of galactic information to put it all together. So in my work, I learn first how to honor the earth wherever I go, how to connect with the temples that are underground that usually are many all over the planet, and they're all interconnected. I also learn how to feel, how to sense, how to see every single detail in things, and all of that. I mean, I received all the training inside different Andromeda ships. As I was saying at the beginning, this being that I was channeling when they showed up in my life, it's also part of me. So I have a complete consciousness of being multidimensional and being inside a ship and learning and using it and learning how to use different colors of energy. And it takes steps, but it's not complicated. I think it just needs the devotion of not taking ET contact as an investigation process. I would say that if we can take ET contact as part of our lives, because all of us have some form of ET connection. So if we can take it as part of our lives and do it with devotion and learn, we all will learn, because it's not for specific or special people. It's just to be able to feel it, to be able to be part of it, to be able to integrate that into your life. That's not easy though, because it takes time. But there's a moment when you learn how to live in that multidimension. And as you, Vivian, and probably you, Sheila, too, we all do different things, but at the same time, we all come together. We're working with the same purpose, which is to keep our planet alive. The first thing, to make a better planet for all of us, and to learn that beyond 3D, there's much, much more, and we can live in the soul world, in the spirit world, and in that spirit world, we can learn so many things if we pay attention to very tiny details.
Wonderful. Thank
Thank you.
I wanted to also ask, when you're having contact, have they taken you to what you might consider a planet or some type of an interdimensional space where they work with you and provide downloads?
Probably that was at the beginning, that I was always scared of being taken into ships and be completely conscious of being inside a ship and seeing all these things doing on my head, on my heart. And at that time, I always thought, oh my God, maybe they're working on me, maybe they're putting chips on me, maybe. And at the end, basically what they were doing is they were checking on my physical body to see if I'd adjusted to have a physical body. So with time, I understood all that experiences, all those experiences that make me so scared, because I was always very, very scared. And then when they start tuning up your brain, to start talking to you, and it's like, what is that, being so scared? That was at the beginning, to learn these different worlds and how I could live between it when I was 15 years old, and how you go on with all this, But at this point, I move myself in the multi-dimension, and I just do whatever I need to do. There are certain ships where I go and I get the information I need to do things for the benefit of all of us, because as I said before, it's not about us at all.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I want to provide our audience one more chance if anyone has a final question that they would like to ask for Marcela.
Jimmy did ask a question.
Okay, Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, Sheila. Sorry, my hand raising icon has disappeared tonight on the app.
Uh-oh.
I was just wondering, I missed the beginning of your presentation, Marcela. Thanks for speaking. I'm just curious if your experiences started as a child in childhood, if it's been on that long. That's when it started.
Yes, it started when I was a child. When you're a child and you realize that you're different, that you see a lot of things that nobody sees, but you think that everybody sees the same thing. Yes, it started when I was a child, but it wasn't the experience of contact with, like, for other people. For me, it was just trying to understand what I was doing myself, to be able to hear, to see different things, to have the feeling of being lifted through the roofs or going through walls. And how could you explain that when other people that are contactees will explain that experience in a different way? For me, it was just to understand how I was fitting in the ET contact. I'm not calling myself a contactee. Basically, that's what I was.
Thank you. I completely understand. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jimmy. Okay. I'm scanning through. Don't see any other hands. So, Marcela, to kind of wrap everything up, do you have any final thoughts for us tonight?
Well, I would like to say that because all of you work with the Galactic Federation, to say that yes, there are many races, many beings working together for the benefit of our Earth and helping us to move forward, fifth dimension or higher. I would like to say that it's good if we learn to see through and beyond. There are many things that we actually don't see, but they're there. And then when we talk about ET contact, we have to go beyond physical crafts and lights. There's much more. And usually beings, especially if we call them light beings, because a lot of people think that we're talking about light beings, we're talking about angels. And of course, they're on that level because of the high frequency energy and the light, but actually they're ET beings. They just come from a different reality. So if we can learn to see them, because sometimes they're in front of us, I'm not spend much more time looking at the sky. Probably the ET world will change because there's so much that is happening that sometimes people forget that they're in front of us and they don't see it. You give a speech sometimes and then people are thinking, oh, when I'm going to see the ship tonight, or how I'm going to see it, and they're just in front of you. So if we can learn that, if we can all work together, we all come from different places. But at the same time, there's no mistake in anything. There's always synchronicity. So we're always working for the same purpose. So if we can open our hearts and start listening with the heart, we will create a better world for all of us.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And I see Stone has a question about, have you ever had any negative orb experiences or a warning from them?
Can you please repeat the question, because the internet is cutting off, so I didn't hear very well what you said.
Yes. Have you ever had a negative experience with an orb, or have you ever received a warning from the orbs?
No, from orbs, no, but from beings and human beings, yes, because there's always beings and energies that try to attack us in different levels. We have to learn how to recognize them, and we have to learn how to defend ourselves, because usually there's more light, there's more darkness, like in everything. So from the orbs, no, I never had anything wrong with them. I mean, they're there. I don't spend a lot of time communicating with the orbs. They're there to call my attention from different things.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. And Vivian, you had a question?
Yes, I had a question, and then it's really to help everybody to even understand different concept and principle. According to what you know and your beautiful knowledge and all the training and the lineage that you're part of, is there a difference between the intergalactic beings and the angelic realm, like archangels and angelic beings? Do you feel like it's is there a difference in between? And that would be my question.
If we're going to go aside of religion, I would say that maybe they're the same, because of the frequency, because of the energy, because of the light. But if we have to give them a name, we always talk about, I talk about light beings from different realities, different dimensions. But I also believe in angels and archangels, and there's a point in time when they are the same. But the religion taught us that they're angels and they're archangels.
Okay. Thank you so much for this, because, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Marcela. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And Vivian, oh, I can't believe how quickly that the month went by.
Like that.
Right. It's been an honor and a privilege to have you here for the entire month. And of course, I'm going to try to snag you back again. Yes. Everyone's loved your energy. It's a beautiful way to start off the year. You know, we started off with some archangel and angelic energy with Peter when he came and talked to us about all of the various tools that he made. I actually wore the Metatron necklace this entire weekend because it just really helped to anchor me and keep me grounded as we were going through. Yes, ma'am. As we were going through with all the energy and all the shifts and everything that was occurring, that, you know, it was really, really blessed. And I was wondering, I'm glad you've got those there, because I was wondering if you could tell people a little bit about those that might have missed Peter's presentation at the very beginning of the month.
Oh my God, I am so honored. So Peter is my husband. Marcela, you may have remember him when we first met at the Mount Shasta conference already 2 years ago. Time is a linear illusion, so it goes really quickly. And so Peter was the first guest opening the year fresh of 2023. And so this is, let me show you something, because everything that Peter creates has such a high frequency of energy. He is really much a conduit for love. He's a beautiful balance of the divine masculine and utilizes divine feminine also during the work that he does. He works with the Thansor technology, which is also copper-based organic energy that is really working really well with your own resonance field. And this one here is the latest creation. The symbols put in the circle, the triangle, and the square was given to him. And one morning he got up at 4 o'clock in the morning by his guide, says, you need to create this new pendant. It's based on the Archangel Michael and was his original design, with this configuration of sacred geometric shape in a form that it creates such a powerful emanation of light around you that it really protects you. And not that we need protection, but it's just to need to strengthening who we are, really amplifying a higher resonance field around you and allowing the energy to stay, so you are like in this luminous field of light and you can walk through anything. So I did too, was wearing my pendant during the conference, and it's just to allow myself to be even more in that higher vibrational state. And each of his tools are handcrafted. He prepares and creates everything himself. It's all handmade. And he also chooses very carefully configuration of stones that is the most in alignment with the intention of the pendant. And they have a natural glow. So when you wear them, your own heart energy will make your pendant glow at night. And the solar frequency also charge them up. So they're always in a high frequency, high resonance. And he's very much here to be of service. And Peter does it this way through the channeling, so to speak, of his creation and how it helps people from all over the world, practitioner, channeler, people who are sensitive to energy, want to stay in a higher frequency, being able to feel their heart, opening their channel of communication, stability, mental clarity, and so much and so forth. So I've seen him, he spends hours and hours creating each pendant and how everything is energetically aligned in a specific way. So he's very talented, and I honor what Peter does. And we have been shipping pendant all over the world, and even in your corner of the planet stone, we have clients there in South Africa, Australia, everywhere. And he's extremely gifted. And the reason why I did ask Marcela about the angelic realm, it's because personally I have been interacting with Archangel. And also when I met my husband, the first thing I saw right in his field was 1,000 light being or angelic light being all in a row. And they were all wearing the same symbol. And they were telling me as a group consciousness that they were his brothers and sisters, that they wanted me to know who he was. And that was extremely powerful. So this is why I understand that there's different plane of existence and there are different beings. But I have seen solar archangels. I have seen beings that come from different plane of existence, not even dimension, but plane of existence. And when I interconnect with my intergalactic groups, my star delegations of the Federation, I can feel that there's a oneness of who we come from, Prime Creator, at the same time expressed at different level. This is why I was curious to see what would be another form of answer for with the angelic realm. I personally feel very close to them as much as I feel close to my intergalactic origin. But ultimately, it's all the light expressing as light.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And so if people are interested in purchasing Peter's work, or if they want to learn more about him, could you share his website in the chat, as well as if you could speak it for all of those who are watching this on a replay?
Of course. So Peter's website is energiesofservice.com. So energiesofservice.com. Yes, it is available. Of course, we're here to be of service. We're here to bring more organic consciousness form of technology that will help to understand how to manage your own energy, how to increase the frequencies, also becoming the embodiment of those frequencies and supporting you. Everything is really much heart-based creation. And like Marcela, you mentioned, it's all about the connection of the heart. One thing I would like to ask Marcela, because I know that some of you have expressed a desire to connect to you. Is there an email address that you'd be comfortable to share, Marcela? I know that Stone in New Zealand would love to connect with you. She asked for it, if that would be okay with you, Marcela.
Yes, I can write my email address on the chat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, and they can also look for me. I mean, through you, Vivian, on Facebook. I mean, most of my work and my photos are there, although it's not public. But sometimes I have some friends from your shows, Vivian, that I made a lot of good friends.
That's wonderful, because what you have to share is sacred. And I know that one is the perfect higher alignment to be able to talk about it. And when Sheila, you invited me so graciously to be your co-host on the Cosmic Conversation, and you said, who would you like to bring? Of course, Marcela, I thought of you right away. And I'm thinking, we need to bring
Thank you so
Marcela.
much.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
I'll always remember when you and I were on the same panel at the Mount Shasta conference 2 years ago. It was a panel
Yes.
on ET contact, and it was the first time that we physically met, and you were sitting, like opposite of me, like on the row. And every time you spoke, or every time I spoke, you can tell it was a synergy and exchange. And I felt my team says, make sure you go connect with this lady, because you are in a very similar resonance field. So you need to connect. And
I
then
felt the same. I felt exactly the same.
Oh, good. That's wonderful.
That's beautiful. And so thank you again, Marcela, for being here. Thank you for sharing your contact information with people. I'm very appreciative of that. And Vivian, again, I'm so appreciative for you being here and sharing the month with me. Could you go ahead and speak your email address, so that, or not your email address, but your website, so that people could reach out and get a hold of you, as well as type it in the chat?
Oh, absolutely. Let me type it right away. Mine is a little bit longer. And there's a little funny story behind it, like a 30-second story. So my website is called Infinite Healing from the Stars.com, all together, lower caps, Infinite Healing from the Stars.com. I come from a realm where unification and soul exchange, and we talk through soul essence exchange. And it's even beyond telepathic communication. It's really much a holographic transfer of an aspect of who we are. So this is very closely at a soul level where I come from to this incarnation. So oftentimes verbal 3D communication is challenging for me, because I'm already in that state of communication, communion. It's always flowing. I'm a conduit. I'm built that way. And so 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago, before I was starting to get public a little bit, I was getting ready. My team came and they said, you're going to need a name. Well, I said, my earth name is Vivian Chauvin. They said, yes, we know that. They said, you're going to need a name, a label that we're going to bring, so you can build your foundation, and you're going to use this word, this name publicly. Well, I had no idea, because again, those are foreign concepts for me. And I know many of us can relate to that. So they said, okay, what are we doing? I said, we're going to be providing healing. And healing is an infinite umbrella. And where are you from this perspective of this lifetime? I said, I'm from the stars. And they said, there we go. Infinite healing from the stars. And that's how it came about, this dialogue with my Arcturian delegation in that name. But back at the time, I didn't think about how long it would be, and with the email app and the website and the domain names. So it's a very long name, but it really speaks of the journey that healing is a huge infinite umbrella. And we're coming back to this infinity that we are. So this is why this is my name 10 years later.
beautiful. I love that story. That's awesome. And does your team have anything that they would like to share with us, kind of as a closing comment to your month?
Absolutely, Sheila. And if I look just at the three of us on the screen right now, yourself, Sheila, Marcela, and myself, one thing I feel, and you say something many things very important, Marcela. You talk about, and ultimately we're all working towards the same goal, and it's simply different perspective or vibrational alignment and different frequency. And tonight, for what it is my last month as a co-host, I felt it more than ever that the delegation, who you represent, Sheila, Marcela, all the groups, the golden being, and I really connect with the golden rays and the frequencies, all the beings of light, the Andromeda, and even beyond the galaxy, all these groups that you've been working and training with. My Arcturian, because delegation, I'm profoundly Arcturian in this lifetime, but also the Federation of Light. And I felt all of us coming together, and I felt at the heart level how much we are truly, deeply all working towards very similar goal. And it's really much the uplifting and in reverence of all life, the uplifting of an entire civilization and planetary system to bring ourselves back to divinity, to return to Prime Creator, to return to who we are, and to return to live benevolently, being benevolent every day through the grace, the power, and the mastery of our hearts. It's more than a concept. It is a way of living. It's a way of being. And we'll need that more than ever to really communicate, be in sync, be in harmony with each other. The way we also, on a quantum level, language is shifting. The meaning of words, the vibration of our communications is shifting. The way we relate to one another, the way I see you and you see me. So I felt that those energies tonight when you were presenting, Marcela. And again, I want to thank you so much for your time, your presence, your energy, and all the way from Peru. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I know it was difficult with the internet speed, but you did a beautiful job. And thank you for sending the photos so that everyone could see those. I really appreciate it. And so I hate to close for the evening, but it is that time. And I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. I want to thank you for supporting the Galactic Alliance. If you're not signed up on our mailing list, please do so. Just visit the galacticalliance.com, or I'm sorry, galacticalliance.org, not com.org. And if you have not already done so, if you will please visit the Conscious Awakening Network. You can also download our phone app in your phone stores. You can also visit our website, which is consciousawakening.org, or you could download the Amazon, the Apple TV, or the Roku app. So you can always check us out on YouTube as well. And so for all the YouTube family out there, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you being with us week after week. So next month we have Shayla Sananda, who will be here with us. And our first guest for the month will be Zoe Davenport. And so until we are all back together again, much love to everyone. Have a beautiful week and namaste. So good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sheila.
Thank
Much
you.
love to you, and I will be back.
Yes, yes, you will.